What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Hailing Frequencies Open, where each week Will and I sit down and discuss the things that you discussed on videos where we discuss an episode of Star Trek.
They're hailing us. Hailing frequencies open.
Captain, we're receiving 285,000 hails.
I wish I knew what to tell them.
Yeah, so this week we're going to start with our review of Q Who, but it was our on-screen recording of our live watch that YouTube really enjoyed.
Yeah.
That's fun. So first one here is from my office. He says, very enjoyable. Looking forward to the breakdown and the retrack review. Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Glad you guys enjoyed it.
The next one here is from Captain Alimar. He says, nice stuff, guys. Liked seeing Caleb's reaction live. I bet he thought this episode sucked. Pretty big stuff this week.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty funny. I was curious, when we were going into it.
Yeah.
I can tell you now that when we were all hanging out and you were busy, you were not listening, and from my office was like, hey, so what do you think of how Caleb's gonna feel about Q Who? And I was like, yeah, I don't know. Don't know if he's he's going to enjoy it. Like, it does make me nervous. And he was like, yeah, it makes me nervous too. And I was like, we'll see what happens. We'll see.
Well, the important thing to remember about Q Who is that Q is not the main point of that episode.
Right. We agree.
Yeah. Then we have a comment here from my adjacent office. It, he says, Mambu wishes to see full episode, but not on Paramount.
So you alluded to it. And the great thing is, so we recorded a, 42-minute long reaction to it. I went through and edited it down to 23 minutes or so, 24,
Yeah.
and then overlaid ourselves on it and did all of that and upload it. And Paramount Global still said, ooh, that's you have copyrighted material in there and you're not allowed to display this.
Oh.
So I had to appeal that and say, no, this is totally in the Fair Use Act. And they said, okay, we'll review it. You have 7 days. It'll go live for 7 days and we'll review it. And yesterday, from this recording, they were like, oh, no, it still has copyright material in it. So you have 6 days until we take it down.
Nice.
So I was like, cool. Thanks.
That's pretty cool.
I purposely edited out full things from it just to get the grit of the episode, and it didn't care. So I don't know. Might have to legitimately just be a Patreon thing and not ever upload it to YouTube.
Yeah. Oh, well, on to better things, Will. This is from our
Yep.
interview with Melinda Snodgrass. Probably our best episode to date, by the way.
Yeah.
A good episode. So, starting us off here is from my office. He says, Melinda's law background definitely could be felt in Measure of a Man. What a crazy story of how she suddenly got into the business.
Yeah, pretty funny
Yeah.
that she was like, oh, I was a lawyer and had a law degree and was doing all this stuff, and then went with her friend to go watch Empire Strikes Back after obviously seeing Star Wars. Got to that moment in Dagobah, and she was like,
I gotta quit my job.
She's like, you know what? There is no try.
Quit your job, you must. He says, I appreciated her insight into the writing process and what has worked for her. The idea of working backwards to ensure you get to where you want to go was just great to hear. As someone who's been dabbling some in writing, this has made me excited to go back to the new project I've been thinking about.
Nice.
Yeah, it made me want to write too, that interview. Made me, I was
Yeah.
like,
Oh, yeah.
I should write. I should write stuff.
I know. It's a
Yeah.
thing where it's for the RPG, I've been writing kind of middle back, and I have
Mhm.
projection, but now I was like, I probably should shore up that ending and then work backwards, like she said.
You know what's funny is the episodes where like they don't do that. Where it's like they wrote the ending, they wrote the beginning, and then in the middle is just kind of like I don't know. It's always those episodes where it's like they wrap it up in a nice little bow in the last five
Yeah,
minutes. Is like, okay, so you had everything planned, but the actual like conclusion to the conflict.
yeah,
You
doesn't.
know, it's like, oh, this horrible thing happens in the beginning. Like, okay, cool. How does it end? Well, they have to fly through the wormhole. Like, okay,
Yeah,
great. That sounds great. How do they get there? I don't know.
yeah,
Picard has to shoot somebody.
yeah. That was definitely one of the things I was like, oh man, I wish I got to talk to her about it because both Pen Pals and The Measure of a Man and very, very good. Remember how we talked about
Mhm.
how the little musical flourish of Picard telling Data like grieving and regret and all whatever he says to him is like a part of being human, and then flashback to The Measure of a Man, and Riker's like, "Yeah, I'm not coming to the party," and he's like, "Why
Yeah,
not?" It's like those are arguably like what is why people watch Star Trek for like those episodes, like those
yeah.
types of endings.
It's easy just to have a TOS style ending where you make fun of Spock and then you fly off and
Yeah, yeah.
everything's fun. Yeah. Then he concludes here with thank you guys and Mrs. Snodgrass for an excellent interview. It
She
was
was.
an excellent interview.
It was an excellent interview, and we were very fortunate that she agreed to it. So,
Yeah, it was really cool to get to talk to her. It was nice to be validated that Star Wars is better.
yep,
So
it's
I
true.
enjoyed that. That was pretty good. And I still can't get the idea, Will, of Melinda and George Martin playing like Dungeons and Dragons together on a weekly basis. It's
Yep.
you have a sci-fi writer and you have a fantasy writer, and they get together and they play an RPG. Pretty good. Pretty good. We're all just people, you know?
Yep.
We're
The
all
thing
just
that's nice
people.
is like they've got to be like in their 70s and they're still just like
Mm.
playing role playing games and like rolling dice and getting on Zoom like we're doing. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, it is pretty good. All right, so this is from our review of Q Who. Ed Mark Stars is starting us off here. He says Q Who is a favorite of mine. I'll give it three akutas.
Nice.
Of course, my praise comes with a few nitpicks, doesn't? Yeah, we always have nitpicks, don't we?
Isn't that true of everything? Yeah.
Yeah. He says Ensign Sonia Gomez reenacting a famous goof from I Love Lucy adds
Mm.
nothing to the episode setup. Captain Picard could simply walk onto any turbolift and find himself facing Q. In fact, I can imagine writing Q out of the entire episode, making the Borg encounter totally random.
It's possible.
Yes. Thanks to the Daystrom holodeck, I now realize that many of these little flourish scenes are added by directives from studio executives to honor contract agreements regarding actor airtime.
Yeah, so he's referring
Yeah.
to watching that
Mel
Melinda
yeah.
Snodgrass interview where
Yeah.
she talked about how they had to fit in Guinan's thing.
Yeah. I know that was surprising to me too. I mean, it shouldn't be. It makes sense, but I never thought about like, like why were they in this episode or why were they not in this episode? It's like, well, because they're contracted for 10 episodes.
Then we gotta
And we
fit.
have,
Yeah. Hmm.
so we have Wesley in like two major episodes, but he's contracted for 10, so just like throw him in somewhere.
Well, so definitely everybody who's listed in the introduction where the Enterprise is going ba 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 shoom like that, and it shows
Yeah.
them their main cast. So you do whatever you want with them.
Yeah.
They're not
Yeah.
contracted for anything. They're just contracted to be in the show. The people who come up
Oh,
afterwards,
like the
like Whoopi
special appearance.
Goldberg, Calamini, people like
Kind of
that,
mean.
those people that show up, well, they're contracted. So that's why, like, we haven't seen O'Brien in a couple episodes now, right? Like, he was
Hmm.
in a whole bunch of them, and then now he hasn't been in the last, like, two or three episodes.
Yeah, they used them up.
So it's like, I wonder if he reached his quota or they're going to use him later on, type of thing. So it's
That's so
interesting.
that's so funny. Yeah. For each episode, Oh, a way must be found to include regular characters whose presence adds nothing to the narrative. Gotta keep everyone happy. Yeah.
Yep.
Q comes from a long history of troublesome yet lovable tricksters whose existence is to poke jabs at our heroes. And then he shares a YouTube link.
Yeah, so that YouTube link goes to a clip from Superman the Animated Series where
Hmm.
Mr. McPicklicks, or whatever his name is, the little floating like
Oh, yeah,
sprite
yeah, yeah,
guy
yeah,
annoys
yeah.
him. Yeah.
Yes. He's also a Q.
Yeah, well, I mean, he basically is. It's like McSpicklick. It's like that's how you say his name or
I
something.
know who you're talking about. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that's funny.
Voiced by Gilbert Gottfried, so yeah.
He says, give my popcorn award to John D. Lancey. The man sure knows how to take the Squire of Gothos to a higher level.
He took that
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Trelane and slapped it
Hmm.
up to a 10.
Yeah, I often think about Tulane, like on a daily basis.
Well, I think in just a couple days we're going to be talking about Trelane because season 2 of Strange New Worlds starts.
Oh, yeah, he's in it. He's a lot younger. He's like a baby. I had him.
I had him.
I had him, mother.
We appreciate that. We'll use your suggestion, Ed, for Popcorn Award later on. Thank you.
Next one here is from Captain Alimar. He says, the redoubtable Commander Riker and Microbrain. Growl for me. Let me know you still care. Man, guys, this has been back-to-back excellence. 1 hour, 14 minutes, and 25 seconds in. He says, well, 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 Q gets the MVP, huh? Fancy that. We got him, Will. Caleb finally gets a taste of Q in episodes that don't make you want to Sudoku yourself after watching them. Uh, I'm not a Q stan or anything. I just like watching episodes that leave you less bored after watching them, and Q-centric ones are generally more good than bad. Delancey is having a good time, and so am I. Three Akutas, obviously.
He liked what I said to him. He wrote something in one of the comments, and I said, "We got him, boys. We got him." So now he's
It's just, yeah, he was a lot better, you know.
wow, yeah.
I knew like everybody likes him in the future, but like it's just one of those things where it's like in those first couple episodes, you're just like, I
I
don't, I don't care.
Yeah, I don't hate him in the pilot, but hiding Q, he's not amazing. So yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot, definitely better, definitely better. He says, I like Ensign Gomez. She is very memorable, and not just because get your blank to Mars. I agree that it's nice to show people who aren't perfect in every way in Starfleet. Officers in Starfleet are genuinely competent. They don't have to be immaculate, makes them feel human. Who hasn't made a buffoon of themselves like that before? No,
I always
none of us.
spill hot chocolate on my bus.
Yeah, I throw a hot cocoa right in my boss's face. And I always make sure like if my job entails like doing a lot of like electrical stuff, I always bring like liquid in there
Yeah.
with me. Yeah.
Well, the thing I'll just say, it'll be a little teaser for Caleb that if seems like everybody kind of liked Sonia Gomez. I'm okay with her,
She's fine.
but if Caleb liked her and other people like her, the question out there will be, does will Caleb enjoy? And I'll just say Sir Reginald when we get there. That's all I'll say.
Yes, very much. All these scenes with Q were just great. I like his playful nature. He's like a cat playing with lives of the Enterprise crew. He keeps his word to Picard, messing with him in the shuttlecraft away from the ship. Why doesn't the Enterprise have a system to alert the ship when an important person, like, I don't know, the captain gets teleported off the ship? The sh the ship knew. It just didn't give. I liked you guys calling Q a genie. I get that impression too. This is the Q I remember interacting with the Enterprise. I only vaguely remember him trying to make Riker a Q, and Q in his big chair during pilot is great. But those episodes suck, and this one is trying a lot harder to be good. Yeah, I agree with that. I was astounded with the budget on this one. It really shows. Good call, Caleb. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a good call. So this is like, yeah, Q is good in this episode. I get like an alien messing with the Enterprise. That's I don't have a problem with that. I it's cool that he's intrigued by the Enterprise and people that work on it. But yeah, I mean that first episode where he holds like the whole court hearing and he doesn't even understand the timeline. It's just like it's just too much, and it's just like
I hear
I don't I just didn't care. And then and then the one with Riker, it's just yeah, you lost me. I was just like, why do people like this guy? I don't understand.
you.
He says Borg. I like the Borg, and this is pretty good introduction. They look great. The design basically never changes.
Sure.
The Borg Queen sucks, and I think they totally achieved what they set out to do, making an adversary that can really threaten the Federation. Yeah, I don't know anything about the Queen. I think
Or
I
a
said
king.
Queen like 12 times.
Or a
I've
king, you
seen
have
it.
no idea.
It could be a king. I
You
mean,
totally didn't walk by the Ticonderoga thing and see a action figure or whatever it was. You were like, "Hey, what's that?" And I was like, "Just keep walking, buddy. Just keep walking."
nah, it's one of those things where it's like I know that stuff,
Yeah.
know about that. I don't really know a lot about it, but I know like it's a thing, and I've definitely seen it. I know it comes back in Picard, but I don't know what it does, why it's
Maybe.
there. Trivia states the Ferengi were created to fill this hole. My God. Jordy sure is relaxed to see this dude in the fetish gear just appear in his engineering bay. You know the thing that holds the warp core? Probably not a big deal. Worf got to kill a man. Good for him. I I really like how the Borg drones act. They feel very alien and are visually interesting. Guinan looking out of 10 forward at the Borg cube, then looking at the monitor that shows the exact same shot is hilarious. Also, could Whoopi at least pretend to push the buttons? He didn't even try to bring up the monitor.
Yeah. The thing that I wanted to comment was
Yeah.
the thing that they talked about in trivia, the like bullet hole wounds that they plug the tubes in. Like to me, that's like the cream of the
Yeah.
crop. What makes the Borg like really, like he said, visually interesting.
I appreciate that the design didn't change throughout time. It's just
No,
like
they.
it's just tubes and
I
metal.
mean, when you go back and look at Enterprise and stuff, like they're a little bit more menacing, but that's about
Mhm.
it. You know, they
Yeah,
get a
but
little bit
it's
more like imposing as time goes on.
I mean they're what you picture when you picture like robot cyborg humans, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
Wonder if we'll ever see anybody that we know as a Borg.
maybe.
Doubt it. Klingon killed my son. My favorite line.
From Star Trek 3.
Yeah, buddy. Best one. Picard gets taken down a peg this episode. He kind of antagonizes Q, and although I would hardly blame Picard for Q's actions, he probably could have humored Q in a way that didn't result in them being transported halfway across the galaxy into the maw of the Bogue.
It's like I don't put Q launching him towards the Borg like Picard's problem. He definitely is a little too much towards Q, and it's like you kind of were asking for it.
Mm,
It's kind of like it's the old trope of if you antagonize somebody and they punch you, it's like, well, whose fault is it? It's like, well, the guy punched him, he didn't have to do it.
yeah,
It's like, but also the person antagonized them. So
yeah,
it's like it's a 50-50 problem.
yeah. I mean, if you're throwing rocks at a bee's nest and they sting you,
Right.
it's one of those things where it's like, so, Q is a troublemaker. He comes on board and immediately Picard's like, I don't have time for your shenanigans.
Right.
And he's like, oh, okay, well, there's really bad things out here. And he's like, there's nothing bad in space that we can't handle. It's like, don't. Mm-mm, mm-mm,
Yeah.
mm-mm, mm-mm, no, no, no,
It's
because you
like
already
haven't
can't handle Q, and there's probably worse things than that.
right. It's like hasn't humanity already been out in space for like 250 years? Like,
Nope.
and you've already encountered like horrendous things. Maybe don't.
Yep. Yeah, maybe don't be like a prideful, arrogant
Right.
captain right off the
Right.
bat, you know? Don't like make him show you that there's horrible things.
Yeah.
He says, then Picard makes a great speech to Q, beseeching him for help and admitting he was wrong.
Hmm.
Q is such a butt, you gotta love him. I like the discussion about what Kirk would have done in this situation. I think I disagree with Will that he would have been too prideful to basically beg for the lives of the crew. Kirk always kept the safety of the Enterprise and its crew as his number one priority. He probably would have got in a fist fight with him though, and he would and he would have totally hit him with his hammer fist thing he does.
Yeah. Double axe handle.
Yeah.
Bam.
Oh, he
Yeah.
absolutely would have. Yeah.
So this is like the thing. Like when I think about times that Kirk has interacted with Q-like entities, he doesn't usually be like, "I'm wrong," and like we're so inadequate to be out here, and like we need your help. He's always like, "Don't you understand that?"
Yeah.
And then he
You're
talks.
wrong.
Right. He always uses like logic that like the galaxy should never be like this and that we should all just get along and be happy. Like he's a logic
Mm,
talking guy where he tries to appeal to like creatures' hearts and stuff. I mean, he never like at the whole point he fights Khan and then at the end he's like, "All right, Khan, well, you are a very intelligent person and we agree that you can't fit in our society, so we'll just give you a planet." And like that's just what he does. He doesn't like
yeah.
concede to Khan in the sense of like admitting that they're weak. He just more is like, well, we're just gonna keep fighting each other, and also I hit you over the head a couple times, so you can stop. You can stop anytime now.
I think you're yeah, I think you're right. I think like Captain Alimar is saying like the priority of the crew in the ship is his number one.
Yes, I guess.
But I
Yes,
don't think he's the type to have like have begged Q to
I
like stop.
no.
He would have tried to like rationalize and tell like Q why he's wrong.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And try to like appeal to Q, like his heart, like get Q to feel guilty or feel compelled to like do things on his own, like change to bring them back because like basically what he did with the computer, right? Like why? Why does
Mm.
this have to be? Like try to like outsmart Q so that Q is like he does like the Jafar thing where it's like, well, next my wish is to be an all-powerful genie, and then he becomes a genie, and then it's like, well, genie comes with a lamp, and then he gets sucked into the lamp. It's like that's what
Yeah.
he would do to Q. He'd be like, well, you're the ones who brought it. You're the one who brought us out here, and it's like, apparently we're not going to learn anything because we're just going to die from the Borg. It's like huh, this was pointless. What a moron! Why would you send us all the way out here? And then
Well,
he'd be like,
yeah.
oh, and then send us push him back. Kind of. You're gonna lose all your toys, Q. Yeah.
Hammer, the hammer fist. Yeah, that's good. I like that.
Yeah.
Thanks for the review as always, guys. Keep up the great work. Popcorn goes to Delancey.
Ooh, another Delancey.
Yeah. Next is from my office. He says, hot chocolate for Sonia Gomez from the slowest replicator ever. The scene does go on a bit long, but Picard handles things well, gracefully. Cool to learn that Picard lives on deck 9. His quarters looks an awful lot like the inside of the shuttlecraft. Turns out he has a roommate as well. Q. Yeah. That's
Surprise.
funny. Sonia is a tryhard, I agree, but it's nice to see Geordi handling the situation, taking some command and offering advice. Yeah, I like that too.
Yep, that was good.
Off to 10 forward, where Guinan knows that something is up. She has an odd feeling, perhaps her Q-dar is registering a certain entity. Yeah, she has Q radar.
Yeah.
Q-dar.
It's that
It's good.
it's that scene where all the Jedi's are getting killed
Hmm.
and Yoda's like, oh, oh.
Oh. Mm.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Picard and Q are apparently far away from the ship. And Q clearly is up to something. The bridge crew notices the captain and the shuttle 6 are missing. I agree that it seems odd that somehow the computer doesn't register that a shuttle or the captain is missing. Shouldn't there be some sort of alert for this? 6 hour search ends with no success to find the shuttle. What do you suppose Picard and Q talked about for 6 hours? Nothing.
It kind of seems like he stonewalled him like really hard because I think I don't remember what part they come back to, but at one point he's like literally bouncing that ball on the wall, and he's just like,
Hmm.
"So time doesn't affect me. So how long are we gonna do this for?" So I get the impression that Picard was just literally got in the shuttle, locked in coordinates for the Enterprise, and then just sat there in silence.
Yeah. This show does this thing where they just do these arbitrary numbers,
Oh, where
you
they
know.
just say like,
Oh, yeah, I've been talking to her for 6 weeks. Okay,
"Yeah,
you know.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, I know what you
we've been searching for the captain for 6 hours. Why?
mean."
It does nothing for the story to make it like this drastic amount of time. It's like, and first of all, Q would have been extremely bored within the first hour. So
6 minutes, really.
just so you know. But anyway, Q has a request for Picard, so it's back to 10 forward. Guinan knows Q. They had some dealings 200 years ago.
There's more arbitrary numbers.
Yep. Back when Q was known as O.
He
Turns
lost a
out,
little. He lost a little zip zap right then.
yeah.
Yeah, you like it.
Turns out, turns out Q wants to join as a member of the crew. I think the question from Picard here are spot on. What would an entity like Q even do on the Enterprise that wouldn't bore him? There's no way he'd relinquish his powers to join a bunch of mortals on their space exploration.
Yeah, I think you said
Uh,
janitorial. I think is what you said.
yeah. Picard now kicks off an unfortunate series of events. Lemony Snickets.
Yeah,
As he comes off as smug and arrogant, time to frisbee the Enterprise 7,000 light years away. More arbitrary
more
numbers.
more arbitrary numbers.
Picard feels compelled to explore some before heading back, and while I don't necessarily agree with this choice, I totally understand why he'd want to. A chance to bold a goal where no one has gone before is quite the temptation. I like to call back to season one as they notice technology has been scooped off the nearby planets. Then the cube. Yeah, that was a funny callback. That it was like clearly there was something bigger going on. That first
Yeah.
season episode where the Romulan, but even the Romulans were like, we don't know anything about this.
Well, that's the thing too with like the galactic map. It's like they had things missing on the Romulan neutral zone, which they could
Yeah.
easily get to, and then they got propelled so far away that it was going to take them like years or something to get to the
Yeah.
nearest star base. So it's like, what did this Borg cube do? Or what did a Borg cube do? I guess maybe it's not the same one. I don't remember. Anyways,
Yeah,
doesn't
so
matter.
it came to the neutral zone, scooped up technology, and then went back into the depths of
It like
space.
went like years away from the neutral zone.
And now that they have like seen the Enterprise now, they're like, oh,
Oh,
maybe there's more past where all those other people and things were. That's cool.
yeah. And I mean, obviously, stuff in the future kind of explains some of this, but like right now, from the information that we understand, the Borg were doing something on the Romulan neutral zone, and then now they're 7,000 light years away, and now they're super curious about the Enterprise. So it's like,
Are we to believe too at this point that like the cube is legitimately just the entire Borg organization?
well, you as a viewer have no reason to think that they're not just one chip.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Like they don't have like a home base.
No.
Cool.
You know how most species only have ships, they don't have like a home world or anything.
No, why would you? Yeah. I wish they had explored even more about how Guinan feels about the Borg, especially since she gives some history of them with her people. It could have caused some nice drama between Picard and Guinan.
I
Yeah.
It's a thing where again, he's probably speaking to future conversations and future things, but
Hmm.
I do think that she's just like, yep, they're terrible, and our people barely escape them, and they're just like terrible machine people. And that's like all you really get. Which Picard's like, "Oh, interesting. Well, we'll keep talking to him." And then she's like, "You can't keep talking to him." And he's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. Well, we'll try to reason with him." And then she's like, "You can't reason with him." He's like, "Oh, okay. Well, we'll form like a treaty with them." And she's like, "You can't form a treaty with them." She's like, "Well, you probably should leave and head back home." And he's like, "No, can't do that. That's off the
What
table."
if we went further?
He comments here that on the transition that I did of like a mark where I say this is the halfway point, go down to the comment section and write, and then I do our little like break. I went in and like edited
Oh,
it so that it looked like the Borg had like assimilated our transition.
oh, that's funny. But yeah, that is cool. He says the Borg are scouting out engineering, and we see delegation at its finest. Picard to Worf, take care of the intruder. Worf to Ensign No Name, take care of the intruder. Poor guy. I think I would have been like, yeah, maybe the big, strong Klingon ought to take care of this one. I agree things play out likely to have Worf take the action shot with the phaser, but how did the ensign not think to do the same? Hmm. Use my long range weapon against the scary looking robot thing or walk up to him like we're buddies? Idiot. Well, that's why he's an ensign. I side with Caleb on how dumb it is. They scavenge parts, but then both transport away. Unless.
Hmm.
And
I like what he says here. I like what he says.
then he says, did you notice how the Borg body left behind a shadow on the carpet? I don't remember if I noticed that or not.
Yes. So yes.
He says, my question is, was this just a technical limitation of the show, or was this done to show that the Borg basically disintegrated the useless drone now that it's toast? Oh, that's a cool idea. This would make the scavenging of parts make a lot more sense. Yeah, that would.
So
Maybe.
I think it gives his theory a way more credit because this is like the remastering of it. And if it was a technical goof from
Mm.
the original airing, like they would have just edited out the like comping, like they would just would
Shadow,
have
yeah.
colored in the shadow and his shadow wouldn't have been left there. Because like you said, it just kind of looks like a poor getting an actor from like fading away from the scene. So I think that it's intentionally left there, and I think his theory is really good that that they were like disintegrating him, and that's why he
Mm.
collected the Borg pieces. I think
Yeah, leave
that
behind no.
makes yeah.
I like that.
I think he got chewed up into the machine and like put it back in
Yeah.
to become useful to the cube in some
Yeah,
other
he went right back to the hatchery.
way. Yeah, yeah.
Huh. Yeah, I like that theory. That's cool. I'm gonna say that that's canon for me.
Cannon.
Canon. Caleb's canon event. We learn a lot about these adversaries. They are organic and artificial life. They have a hive mind. They regenerate. Don't care if you're not a threat, and they like to augment babies, apparently. Which the Federation hates? Question mark. Hey, we got to go save this space station. They've been manipulating children DNA. Oh, okay.
That's fine.
Are they giving them like robot parts? Because that'd be bad. Q says they're the ultimate user, not interested in political conquest, wealth. They want technology. Riker wants to visit the ship, and Guinan can't believe it. Neither can I, girlfriend. But I can't say it doesn't make sense. While they're seemingly out of commission, why not try to learn all you can about these really powerful beings? Yeah. It was cool to see the ship regenerating, to see the Borg draining shields and taking out the warp bubble.
I think to his point about the Riker guy, like Riker wanting to go over on Guinan, I think that scene just needed to be written a little bit better to make sense. Like, I get I get that they want to go over and learn as much as possible. Like I don't have a problem. I think just like the interaction, like the lead up of why Riker would want to do that and her
Yeah.
objecting to it, and then Picard being like, "Meh," just needed to have some tighter, more like tighter dialogue in it.
Yeah, I can agree with
Hey,
that.
because otherwise it's like, "Hey, Guinan, we took you into this room to talk to you about the Borg and learn as much about the Borg as possible," and then she tells you they're horrific and terrible and they're going to kill you, and they
Mm.
like you need to escape, and they're like,
She's
but
like,
what if we did more with them? And it's
if
like, okay,
we,
so why are you talking to Guinan? It's like you're not.
what if we went on their ship?
Yeah, right.
She's like, no, I wouldn't do that. She's like, okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna go on this ship.
Right. Exactly.
Pretty good. I also question why you would continue to fire weapons on the cube when they have proven to have no effect. Q makes more effort before leaving, and Picard admits that for now. They are not ready for this. He admits that he needs Q, who frisbees the ship back to where they started. Thank goodness for inertial dampeners, or I'm sure everyone would have thrown up. Q admires Picard for admitting that he needed help. Q has set a series of events in motion by bringing the Enterprise to the Borg before it was supposed to happen. The Borg are aware of their existence, so they will be coming. Maybe Q did the right thing for the wrong reason. Maybe they needed a kick in their complacency to prepare them for what lies ahead.
That's right.
Yeah. The Borg are coming, just like the Romulans are coming in season one.
That's right.
Can't wait.
Before you read his next thing, I want to look something up really fast for you. So here's the interesting thing. In the Enterprise episode, T'Pol tells Archer that the Borg ship sent out a thing out towards space, and it would take 200 years for that message to reach that area,
Hmm.
which is 12 years after this encounter. So like the Borg get that transmission, and then 12 years later the Enterprise interacts with them.
Interesting.
So it's kind of interesting that you would might think that they believe that the technology of Earth is comparable to Archer's timeline. So when they encounter Picard, they're like, "Well, this is kind of similar to that, but it seems like they're way more advanced." So they board the ship, inspect, and then they're like, "Oh, okay." And then they advance things, and so and then now they're fully invested because they're all caught up. So I don't know. It's just an interesting
Yeah.
thing. Arbitrary numbers.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, I don't put a lot of like faith or belief in like timelines of stuff in Star Trek. I've
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
learned not to because it's just whatever they want it to be for the week, you know?
Yep.
So like I don't take all that stuff. Like I'm sure there are fans out there that take every star date log entry like very seriously, but it's just
Oh
like
yeah.
for me, I don't care. Anyway, let's continue this. He says three Akutas for me, a fantastic episode of TNG. That is a game changer. Yeah, hopefully it changes something. Q for the MVP. Wow, that's recorded now for all the internet to enjoy forever. Great review, guys. And he says the popcorn award goes to Patrick Stewart.
Yeah.
Wow, that's funny.
So there you go, Caleb. So you got two suggestions for John Delancey and then one suggestion for Patrick Stewart. So the
Yeah.
question remains, who does get the popcorn award for the best actor of Q? Who?
So last week I agreed with Captain Alimar. So this week I'm gonna have to also agree with Captain Alimar. It is definitely Delancey. So
Wow.
um, Captain Alimar and Ed Mark are right from my office. Of course, as always, is wrong. Patrick Stewart's a good answer.
No, it is a good answer. John
Wrong
Delancey.
still. Still makes
John
it
Delancey.
wrong. John Delancey's good, and I'll give it to him. I hate to double down on the Q,
But you must.
but I must. Great, really great. All right, so here is from our hailing episode where we drove to Ticonderoga.
Yeah,
What a good time that was.
great time.
Almost got knifed at a gas station.
Wow.
Really good. Yeah.
No.
So from my office commented on that video. He said, "Thanks for answering hails from the shuttle pod. I hope you guys had a great time. Nice joke, Will. Ha ha ha."
So his the joke is me saying that's the right of dissension.
Oh, yeah.
And we did have a great time, and as of this recording, I am currently still editing it. So,
Nice.
because I didn't want to just do our intro outro and then like 15-second pictures and no dialogue, so I decided to
Yeah.
talk over them. And then I talked
Mm.
over them, and it came to 43 minutes of talking, and I said, "Great, great, I'm so happy." So now I'm editing that to get it to
You
not
fool.
be
What a
40.
rookie. What a
Yeah.
rookie move. Yeah, we had a great time, just the two of us, as it should be.
Yep.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was a good time. Honestly, like the tour and everything is fun, but it's just like so Will and I do this, and this is really kind of like, other times we get together, but not anything crazy, but like just being like in a car for 6 hours, getting to like talk and joke around, is always fun.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was good there.
The best part though is honestly when I make that joke about put your seatbelts on, and then we almost got sideswiped by that car coming out of that driveway. And like our reactions were both so good, like whoa, whoa,
Yeah, it's pretty good.
whoa.
It was pretty good.
Almost got hit by a meteor.
Also, AI came through and helped design another shuttlecraft exploding. So,
I saw that. Yeah, I liked your sound effects too. That was good. All right, next one here is from Captain Alimar. He says, "Nice drive, guys. Question of the week. The Prime Directive, what is it trying to accomplish, and how would you change it to make it better?" I'd get rid of it. That's what I do.
it's like obviously they need some sort of legislation to not just go and do whatever they want on whatever planet. Like the planets
Yeah.
have the right to run their own things. Like they shouldn't just come in and just make everyone a part of the Federation. Like I get the Federation is a nice thing and they all work together and it's kumbaya, but it's like at the same time like you
Yeah.
don't need to be a part of the Federation. Like it's okay to be your own thing. But with that being said, you still need some sort of governance to dictate like how you interact with people. I think the original series is a great example of like
You know,
interacting with species, even Enterprise, interacting with cultures and species that like you don't know enough about and like really like messing up their society. So,
yeah. I think what needs to happen is that the Federation needs to get to know their culture.
yes.
I think what happens with the Prime Directive a lot of times is it becomes like, kind of mimics our history of, other places coming over to undomesticated land and like forcing Christianity on
Yes, yes, 100%.
natives,
Yep. Yep, 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 yep.
It's a lot of that kind of stuff. And it's like, I don't know. I'm not a fan of the Prime Directive, as you've known.
I think as time goes on, they do a couple things in the franchise that I think is like how they should handle it. Like you're saying, they investigate the planet, and then they're like, this society or this civilization would not be agreeable to learn that there are more aliens in space. And it's like, so therefore we will not interact with them. Because to me, even aliens who have warp technology should still be assessed. Just because they
Yeah.
can fly in
Oh, yeah.
space doesn't mean we should just go and talk to them and tell them that they're a part of a galactic family. It's like,
Yeah.
no, let's still talk to these people and assess where they're at. And
Yeah,
I
because
think it's
The Borg have warp technology.
right, right, exactly. I think stuff that comes later in the series and in the franchise is how I would change the Prime Directive, which is I think how the the writers did as well.
Yeah. I don't know. I get having like a safety system, but The to think that everybody that learns how to fly in space are just going to be on these like, missions of discovery and
Right.
not hostility is naive and stupid. But
Yeah, I agree.
yeah. Anyway, he says, thanks for the review as always, fellas. He says, whoops, meant shuttlecraft drive. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Shuttlecraft drive.
That's what we meant. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really funny. All right, so then we're doing what's popular this week.
Yeah. So thanks for your comments, guys. We appreciated it. We know we had to like double up everybody's comments, and we had a lot of things come out. So we know it's a little bit longer, but we appreciate it. And we're grateful for it. And now we can get into what's popular this week.
This is popular, so popular. This is popular this week.
All right, so this is from KKCan 2020. This is from Enterprise subreddit. This is Dominic Keating getting married.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
So that's what KK Can put on,
Crazy.
right? He got married recently, and then the lower picture is
Yeah.
I think is from his actual Instagram,
Oh,
and
wow.
that's who showed up.
That's crazy.
So Phlox, Captain Archer,
Yeah.
Travis, and
Trip.
Trip. Yep.
Man, they look like way different, don't they?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Anthony Montgomery he just looks older. He still looks very
Yeah.
neat. But like, yeah, like John Billingsley with a beard, and also Connor Trinneer with a beard is like really funny. I mean, I know Dominic has one too, but still, it's just like, yeah. I mean, Scott Bakula, he's getting older.
He's up there. I
I
don't recognize him out of the makeup. That's crazy.
John Billingsley,
Yeah.
yeah. The thing that this is the thing that sucks, and it's the same exact thing that they did with the TOS gang. And they
Hmm.
fortunately were smart and did it with the TNG gang. They gave us season 3 Picard. But the thing that I will never be understand is fans still are excited and you have these actors. It's like
Yeah.
do something with them. I don't care if it's just an animated series and they're voicing it. It's like literally give us season 5, 6, and 7 of Enterprise as an animated series with these people voicing them. It's like it makes no sense to me. And it irritates me because you look at John Billingsley and Scott Bakula, and it's like they're just getting older.
Hmm.
Like they're gonna get older and
Hmm.
pass away, and like that's it. And now you can't do anything because these guys are gone.
Well, they do the same thing with everything. I mean, they've been talking about Firefly
Yeah,
forever and ever,
forever. And
and
now
then,
Nathan Fillion's like 50 something years old.
yeah, and he
It's
would
not gonna
still do
happen.
it, but it's like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
no, I know.
Mhm.
Anyways, it's really nice to see that he got married. He seems genuinely happy, and I
Yeah.
I like that, cast, these people are Connor and him are friends because they have a
Yeah.
podcast, but it's just nice to see that these guys are friends and they support each other, and that honestly, John Billingsley and Anthony Montgomery are great guys. I have nothing against them. But I've heard nothing but adoration and like high marks for Scott Bakula and how amazing he was on Star Trek Enterprise as an actor and as like a team leader.
Yeah, I hear good stories about Bakula. Like he just is a genuinely like nice guy too.
Yeah. But also like brought consistent class to the set.
Yeah. That's cool.
So thought you'd like that. We're big enterprise guys, and yeah,
I like it, but I also don't like it. You know what I'm
yeah, yeah, I
saying?
know.
Yep. That's pretty crazy. All right, the next one is from the TOS Reddit. This is from VPI Steve. This is Leonard Nimoy owned a pet shop in the valley. That's hilarious. Leonard Nimoy's pet pad supplies fish, domestic and exotics.
Isn't that hilarious?
He says I actually do remember this, but had totally forgotten. It was next door to my neighborhood movie theater when I was a kid. Why?
So,
Why did he own a pet store?
so, so that link goes to an article that talked about it after he passed away. I don't know. He just like he legitimately he owned this spot for a little bit, and they had a lot of animals that I think by today's standards were not appropriate, but
Nope.
but but he owned a shop.
I've definitely seen this picture of him with this elephant,
That's
but I
funny.
never picked up on like, oh, it was his pet shop. I thought it was just like it was just a coincidence that it was named Nimoy's Pet Shop.
I see.
That's really funny to me.
It was a store he opened in Canoga Park, California, in 1969. It apparently only stayed in business for a year or two. It was next door to the to a theater on Sherman Way, which is now a beauty salon, that was 10 years ago.
Hmm.
Michelle Jacques, in a 1970 article, His New World, wrote Leonard decided to realize a long-time dream to open a pet shop with all kinds of animals available that he often wished he see in other shops he frequented. Along with dogs and cats, not just the ordinary variety we find everywhere, they are all sorts of exotic and rare types. The store sold monkeys, boa constrictors, chipmunks, South American otters, and even crocodiles.
Nice. In downtown California.
Yeah, and then the German caption says Nimoy would have liked Mr. Spock to have a cat or dog on board the Enterprise. And then Leonard Nimoy said to her, "Well, I've always had a thing for animals, and I once worked in a pet store to support myself between roles, and I like the kind of people that shop in pet stores." So
Hmm.
there you go.
That's really funny.
For whatever reason, that's making its round on TOS subreddits, but funny nonetheless.
It is, yeah. All right, everybody. Well, thank you for joining this week as we talked about your comments that you talked about our comments on our show that we commented about the show. Oh, stay tuned. Keep commenting and talking to us. We like it. And yeah, we'll catch you
Never
next
stop.
time.
Never stop.
Never stop. Guinan, would you recommend closing hailing frequencies?
I don't know how to press buttons because I'm Guinan.
She's like, no, I wouldn't recommend closing hailing frequencies. And we're like, all right, close hailing frequencies.
Yeah, there you go. Nice.